How did you find out about this type of role?
I grew up with the staff myself. My father was a former NBA player, my mom a former model. With that, I kind of took a little bit of watching my parents. It takes time to get to a chief of staff position. I feel like not everyone is just going to work into it.
What type of person do you think is the right type of person to be a chief of staff?
It's not for the faint of heart. I can definitely tell you that, because you have to have a certain type of mindset. It can be overwhelming.
What's your favorite part about being a chief of staff?
I love the fact that I'm entrusted with so much. I've been doing this for almost 28 years. I feel that part of my love of it is knowing that my purpose is helping people keep their lives in order.
Keisha Jones is a celebrity chief of staff. She has some amazing insights and behind the scenes information to give us. So I thought I'd bring her on to tell us exactly what she does and what type of person she thinks makes a great chief of staff. So tell me just a little bit about the work that you do as a chief of staff.
I pretty much run the day-to-day life of my clients, and that includes everything from managing their inbox, their calendar, travel, home, social connections. I also lead a personal team that includes their personal assistants, executive assistants, also working along the sides of their financial and legal advisors.
How did you find out about this type of role to begin with?
Well, actually, I started off in real estate. Working in property management allowed me to work into the sector of going into having my own portfolio. So when I had my own portfolio, I actually got close to quite a few of my clients who lived in the high rise that I managed. And at the time, they had several homes that were just kind of sitting. And I figured, well, if I'm managing this building, maybe I can manage their homes, not knowing that there was a such thing. I grew up with the staff myself. My father was a former NBA player, my mom a former model, though they were very hands-on. So with that, I kind of took a little bit of watching my parents, but knowing now that there's a such thing as private hospitality took everything to a whole new level with me. And from there, managing CEOs, athletes, entertainers' homes, but then taking those different responsibilities to where now you're overseeing everything about their personal lives, which to me, I think everyone should not have access to. And if you do have access to that, it's something very sacred. And so I learned so much in my early years. I've been doing this for almost 28 years. And I feel that part of my love of it is knowing that my purpose is helping people keep their lives in order. Because someone has to be the calm during the storm. And it has allowed me to garner many amazing relationships with people from so many different backgrounds.
The work that my former chief of staff is doing to certify chiefs of staff, the reason I love it is because I don't think there's a blueprint, or there was not a blueprint before I saw this. And how important is it to know the role before you start, and what percentage of it is just doing it?
Well, to me, I feel that, well, most people think that there's a difference in when you're working, say, corporate versus to the private side of things. Across the board, it's similar, but then it's not so much similar, because I feel that when you are working, say, on the corporate side, there's a lot of executive decisions that are being made. And when you have someone that's a COS that is working alongside of the principal, you're really engaging in business practices versus to someone like myself who is on the private side, and we are making those sound decisions for the principal, whether that's what the staff schedule looks like or overseeing projects that are being done on the home. Like, we are being entrusted in making these decisions while the principal is doing what they love. And so what it all comes down to, I feel like how we measure the success is your time, your connections, the decisions that you make being positive, and definitely peace of mind. And so being able to maximize the principal's time spent on purposeful, with, like, say, for instance, with their friends and, outdoor adventures and creative pursuits, and being able to maximize the amount of quality time, stepping in a place where the principal just has to show up. So I feel regardless on whichever side, you have to pretty much be in that place of where you know your principal literally from the top of their head to the bottom of their feet, and where they can entrust you with so much, especially when you're handing over responsibilities that they pretty much take care of on like on a daily basis. And it takes time to get to a chief of staff position. I feel like not everyone is just going to work into it. It all just depends in regards to what that principal wants their COS to be to them. I feel like that's what it all comes down to. And then how involved they're going to be.
What's your favorite part about being a chief of staff?
I love the fact that I'm entrusted with so much. I'm appreciated. I'm listened to. Like, we have a wonderful relationship where we can sit and discuss any and everything. But then also the fact that I'm valued. I feel like that's what's most important, because a lot of times when you work, especially with those in the entertainment industry, you may not always be told, and you're dealing with a lot of different types of personalities. So sometimes you just really may not know what you may get day to day, but being able to have to work with people who are consistent in who they are. It's not where, they turn it on and turn it off, like that type of thing. So I've been very blessed in regards to that.
Yeah, it sounds very fulfilling, although challenging at times. And so, what type of person do you think is the right type of person to be a chief of staff?
Someone who can really hold their own, someone who is organized. And I'm not an ageist by any means. I'm a woman of a particular age. So, I mean, I've lived some life, I've seen some things. And I feel that for someone who has established themselves in their career, could definitely be someone that would be a great asset for a chief of staff. And it's not for the faint of heart. I can definitely tell you that, because you have to have a certain type of mindset. It can be overwhelming for those who are kind of new to the role, but if you've been in it for some time, I think that you'd be able to definitely be successful in it.
Anything else someone who is considering becoming a chief of staff should know, in your opinion?
I would definitely say, if you have someone in your network, to reach out to them, have conversation, with a couple different people, just to see if it would be your niche. And it is something where you could retire, from this particular role. And if it's something that you want to be in for long term. And I feel that it definitely requires a special type of person to be a chief of staff.
Thank you so much. Wonderful interview. Really helpful. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you for having me.
Wasn't that really interesting to hear from Keisha about her role? If you're interested in doing the work that she does as a chief of staff and you want to get there faster and not have to go through so many hoops to learn the role, check out the link in my bio to join the Elevation Chief of Staff certification cohort that my former chief of staff, Melanie, started. It's really, really cool. You get a great discount when you use my code below. And it's amazing. It's actually changing some people's lives. There are so many people taking this certification right now who are thriving, and I cannot wait to see what happens for you over the next few years in this role.